Okay, I'm going to move on past, let's talk a little bit more. Okay, in New England, we show our love to our kids by giving them very hot baths. That's why I show my kids love. Look how much oil I'm willing to burn on you. Okay, I love you. So I put them in a hot bath and I singe them. And they come out like a wrinkled hot dog. And I'm like, look at that, I love you. See that? That's love. And they're all steaming. If you try to put them to bed when they're steaming, they will never sleep. Because biologically, we fall asleep when our body temperature at its lowest set point. So if we give kids hot baths and showers before they go to bed, they're too hot to sleep. If we let them exercise before they go to bed, they're too hot to sleep. So baths and showers we get earlier in the routine. Let's talk about ambient light really quick. Close your eyes. I'm not going to do anything weird. Close your eyes. Look down. Then look up. Do you see the difference? Young lady in the front, you didn't do anything. Come on, do it with me now. Look down.
I thought you meant with your eyes closed.
Eyes closed. Look down.
Oh, okay.
Then look up. No, your whole head. Your whole head. Go, do it. Thank you. Did you notice any difference in the light coming through your eyes? Yeah. Okay. These are terrible shades, aren't they? They're not good shades. Light gets through these things. So we're going to make sure that we don't have overhead lighting. We're going to make sure that the window's this big, that the shades aren't this big when car lights are coming through. So we try to make sure no light crosses the eyes. Night lights, sub-eye level lighting. And let's talk about caffeine. Where does caffeine hide in our children's snacks? Chocolate, right? It took me a long time to figure that out. I remember as a kid going to bed eating the chocolate bunnies. Do you remember the chocolate bunnies? And they weren't the hollow ones because I had very loving parents. Like a hollow bunny, it's like, but those solid bunnies, they're like a doorstop of chocolate. I ate that thing before I went to bed and like, man, it's weird, I can't sleep. Curious. So we look for caffeine. Caffeine is insidious now. It hides in orange juice. Do you know you can get a lot of juices with caffeine now because they're marketing it to college kids? So just be careful of caffeine. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about bedroom conditions. We're built to sleep under cooler temperatures. Remember that? We sleep when it's dark. We like to make sure we don't put kids, a lot of kids with autism aren't continent yet that you serve. So what do? They get in their diapers at night. So what do we do in response? We put them in those wool pajamas with the vinyl footies. And we put a little duct tape up top. And you're not getting in that diaper tonight, kid. Right? And then they're just boiling in that thing. They cannot sleep. All right? So we like the kids to go to bed with like a nice light linen pajama, maybe with an ascot. You're with me? I'm lying to you. You're picking up the lies. That's good. Not much in the way of pajamas, but comforters so they can push on and pull off those comforters. Lighting under their eyes, noise. It's hard to make it silent. We have a part of our brain, the hypothalamus, called the reticular activating system. Every time there's a novel noise in the environment, it alerts us, and it might bring us out of sleep. Okay? So what we try to do sometimes, parents create a silent environment, but that's almost impossible. A better route is to put in a sound machine that puts in ambient, constant ambient noise that does not change much in pitch, tone, and frequency, such as white noise. It blocks out the other sounds. And so in kids, we have this in my home. I sometimes have graduate seminars at night because our staff work. And so right in my dining room, I have a fairly small house. My kids are sleeping right upstairs, and the students come in, they say, why does it sound like a jet engine is taking off upstairs? I said, oh, that's my sound machine. That helps the kids sleep. And they're like, oh, okay. What? It's so loud to them. But kids, you and I, habituate to that sound. We don't even know it's on. We'll all get out of bed in the morning on the weekend and it's going off for hours. We don't hear it. The reticular activator is where habituation occurs. You can't habituate, by the way, to music, right? I've listened to the same Springsteen songs maybe 5 million times. I'll get on the plane, I'll put the same damn song on, I'll be loving it, right? I don't habituate to Springsteen, but I can habituate to white noise, okay, because it doesn't change much in pitch, tone, and frequency. Not many of you go home and go, oh man, I can't wait to jam to that white noise, right? Put that white noise on, baby. Okay. Let's talk about nighttime noncompliance. This is part of the routine. How do we get kids to go to bed gleefully when we tell them to go to bed? The best intervention is not Cheetos for listening to us. The best intervention is put them to bed prior to their natural sleep phase when they're tired. That's the best way to make sure you manage the schedule, to make sure you're not putting them to bed in the forbidden zone, to make sure you put them to bed when they're slightly tired. I love it when I look over at the couch and I see my 11-year-old boy doing this. I say, Luke, you tired? You want to go to bed? No! I'm good. I'm good. I know he's tired. And when I say good bed, he'll play it cool. Okay, he'll play it cool, but he wants to go to bed. He's tired. That's what I'm looking for. My son, by the way, in the dense to lean transition, this is my son, this is last year, he was pretty funny. When I'd send him up to go to bed, he would do one of these. I'm not going to do it, I don't want to freak you guys out. But he would give me the biggest, give me the biggest hug. Give me the biggest hug, and I was like, man, this is so great. He's 10 years old, but he still loves his dad. He's not afraid to show it. And then I noticed that I was sitting this way, facing the TV. He'd want to hug me from behind. And if I was facing this way, I'd get the front hug, and he just put all his body weight into me. At first, I loved the melting, but then I figured out he was watching TV. That little bugger wanted nothing to do with me. I was just a leaning. I was a post for him to watch TV on, okay? So that was one of those examples of the dense to lean transition. He had a hard time getting out of there. When we put him to bed, compressed his sleep schedule a little bit, he's much more agreeable going on upstairs. Okay, if kids don't follow instructions during the day, it's not likely they're going to follow instructions at night when the stakes are higher. So we work on compliance with families during the day when we work on sleep problems. In your workbook, there's 10 steps towards compliance. These are the 10 things we work on with parents. They go from the easiest to the hardest. We ask that they do all 10. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go over one of them. It's called the name game. The name game is my favorite way to promote daytime compliance. It also bleeds over and helps a little bit at night. Let's talk about the name game real quick. Okay. When you call a child's name, say a child between the ages of 3 and 10, typical child or a child with autism, what's the likelihood that when you call their name, they say, yes? They stop what they're doing, look up and say yes. Slim to none, right? Unless they're in an EIBI program. Okay, and even if then, not so much. Okay, we teach that. Now, why is that? Let's think about that. I want to do a little exercise. I want you to close your eyes again. Oh, you're right. You don't need to, no, but close your eyes anyway. I want you to experience it. Come on, experience it with me. Come on, let's do the experience, this imagery. I used to work for the Groden Center. We did a lot of imagery, covert conditioning. Anyways, I want you to imagine you're a kid. I want you to imagine it's the most beautiful day you can remember. Maybe you're on the beach, you're on the swing set. It's a beautiful temperature. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, but the sun's beating down. You can feel that warmth. If you're like me, maybe you're at the beach and you're building those drip castles and you're just watching this mud just drip off your fingers, drip, drip, and it's creating this beautiful little thin castle. Everything's great. And then I want you to imagine your mom or your dad calls your name. Okay, now come out. In one word, describe your change in emotion from where you were to where you are right now following your parents calling your name. One word. Annoyed. What else?
Abrupt.
Abrupt. What? Give me another one. One more. Disappointed. And this is great because we've grown close today, and you people are willing to share your horrific upbringings with us, and we thank you for that. It's really nice of you to open up like that. I'm kidding, obviously. You all probably came from great families. I came from a great family. But for kids, hearing their name is equivalent to impending doom, right? It signals a worsening, always. Stop doing what you want to do and do something else. Greg, come clean your room. Greg, come wash your hands. Gregory, Paul. That means they found my stash, right? Of candy. And strange people. Okay. So we do these studies where we call out kids' names and we measure the extent to which they engage in what we call a precursor to an adaptive behavior. The precursor is stopping what you're doing, looking up and saying yes. We got kids in 2 groups, test group and control group. They don't engage in the precursors. And this is where we're doing arts and crafts. This is Lauren Bullier. She's going right up to somebody saying, hi, Billy. Hand me the water bottle. Like, that's hard not to do that, right? The demand characteristic is so strong, but these little kids would just look at her and go, and they would just continue playing, okay? So you see in baseline, they're not responding effectively to the name, and their compliance is about 58%. That's low, because she's right up in their grill giving them instructions, and they're not following the instructions. Then she plays the name game with these kids. It goes something like this. She calls every kid's names in baseline 5 times. She also has group calls, like class or group. If they stop what they're doing, look up and say yes, 1 out of 5 times, instead of giving an instruction, she gives them a little reward. natural to the situation. So for a lot of these kids, they like to do hand jive. What's your name?
Jeanette.
Jeanette. So it'd be something like this. Jeanette.
Yes?
Oh, I love the way you stopped with you and looked up and said yes. Way to go. That was awesome. Woo. Okay. Just a little hand jive. Now, that was not reinforcing this young lady. She will never respond effectively to her name for me again. But for little kids, that's a reinforcer. Sometimes they'd be doing arts and crafts. They'd have a little Elmer's glue, right? And it's not Kevin's study, so she would undo the caps for him. All right. Undo the cap. They do an Elmer's glue. And she might call someone saying, what's your name? Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Oh, you're doing such a good job. I love your work. Very good. What's your name? Mary. Oh, hi. What's your name? Susan. Okay. Susan. When I call your name, I want you to stop and you look up and say yes. Don't let me trick you. Are you ready? Okay. Susan. Yes. Oh, thank you for stopping up, looking up and saying yes. Would you like some glitter glue?
Sure.
That's it?
Absolutely.
Kidding? Preschoolers love glitter glue. All these ladies are looking at you getting the glitter glue. Glitter glue is like crack cocaine to a preschooler, right? They will go to dark, dangerous places for glitter glue. So I just modeled. She responded effectively to the name. I hook her up with the little glitter glue. Now I'm going around going, Karen. There's no Karen in this room, right? But you're all going, yes? So, my name's Sharon, but is that close enough? Okay. All of a sudden, you go kids who never respond effectively to the name. They used to hunker down, okay? When you play the name game, just 1 out of 5 times as a reinforcer, not a worsening, following the name, you're conditioning the name to have some value. All of a sudden, the kids in the test group are listening for their names. They'll stop what they're doing, looking up and saying yes every time Lauren calls a name. And the cool thing is, after that, they start complying. Because when you do this, yes, you're predisposed to do the next thing. It's like a chain of behavior, right? Like we talked about this morning. We love the name game. We love playing name games in homes, too. My favorite one, we ask parents, just tell me 10 things your kid loves. And make sure we give it to them, you give it to them after you call their name and they respond effectively. So one of my favorite ones is the family said the boy loved, he was a boy with autism, he loved family sandwich. And I was like, oh, really? What is that? I didn't even want to think. I had no more words. Just you tell me what that is. She said, what happens is anyone can call family sandwich, and then everybody in the listening area then needs to call out what part of the sandwich, bottom bun, top bun, lettuce, tomato, burger, and then they all get on the ground and lay on top of each other. It's like a pig pile. And this boy loved being bottom bun. He thought that was the greatest thing on earth. So they taught him to respond effectively to the name by simply going like this, Jack, yes, family sandwich, bottom bun, top bun, and then they all run and lay on top of each other. Do you see what I'm saying? This can be done just play. That's why we call it the name game. We make it gamey. We do it in classrooms. We do it in homes. We want kids to respond to their name because sometimes when they say, Jack, go wash your hands for dinner. Now, don't get me wrong. Some kids are like, die. Okay. I could have sworn it was going to be the name game. Okay? But as long as there's a little possibility of reinforcement in there, intermittent reinforcement, folks, that's the key. You get good things going. Okay. So if kids aren't following instructions during the day, they're not going to follow it at night. We try to work on daytime compliance. Then finally, I'm going to talk about the big discrepancy in the consequences for noncompliance and compliance. This is the last one. We do not do differential reinforcement with extinction. I'm going to make it very clear. We do not give the promise of a reward for good compliant behavior on Monday. We give that reward on Tuesday, and then they're a little non-compliant on Wednesday, so we withhold that reward. Because this is the time where we just put them to bed and we want them to be relaxed and ready to sleep. And if you remove that reward, what are they going to be doing? Manding, tantruming, jumping out of bed, at least being a little tense, okay? So we don't do extinction, we do differential reinforcement with quality. Let me explain in the context of my daughter real quick. My daughter she's 9 now, but when she was 3 years old, she was so easy. My son was a little toughy to raise, but she was delightful. They're both great, but you know what I'm saying. The kids differ, okay? My son has no problem. He would be the first one to tell you this. Okay, and nevertheless, my wife's teaching. It's Wednesday night. We're watching American Idol. My kids, it's around 8:15, and it just started, and I tell Gracie, going upstairs to bed. She's a little older than 3 years old. She said, Dad, can I stay up and watch more Idol? Now, she was kind of a mess that whole afternoon, that early evening, so I said, you know what? I think you need to sleep. Go on up to bed. No, Dad, I don't want to. Whoa. It's something Luke would say, but okay, Gracie, go on up to bed. Now, I'm on my 3rd vocal prompt. Shows you how effective I am. No, go on up to bed. And she's like, I don't want to. She gives me a foot stomp. Whoa. I'm like, do you know who you're dealing with, woman? But anyway, she didn't, okay? So of course, I had a lot of training. This isn't that many years ago, so what do you think I did? What do you think I did? I had good training. I guided her up the stairs. No, I tried to intimidate her with my small pectoral muscles. I went over to her and I was like, gave her the state trooper look. I said, going up to bed. I can't even flex in this so small, okay? Going up to bed. I tried to intimidate her. She still doesn't go up to bed. What do you think I do? Because I've had all this training. I swore at her. I kid you not. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand what happens as a parent. I am an expert in compliance, for crying out loud. And I did this. Get your ass upstairs. She's 3. I swore at a 3-year-old. That is mortifying to think about right now. So all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? My son's right there, and I just, like you say, I get her little butt, and I just walk her up the stairs. And I say, go in there and brush your teeth. And she's like, I'm like, I didn't get the molars, my hand over hand guy. I go in the bedroom to dress her. She pulls the board on me, like one of these numbers. I'm like, I've dressed 55-year-old men trying to throw poop at me, so bring it, my 3-year-old little princess. So I dress her up, I put the pajamas on her, okay, I get her in bed. Now I'm a little mad because I'm missing American Idol. I'm too cheap to buy a DVR. So normally I'll be like, get to bed, fine, fine, slam. But I've had training, and finally it kicks in. So I just keep the routine going. She goes to choose a book. I say, no, baby, I'll get it. So I choose a book. I choose a thick book. It's a thick board book. It's a board book I used to read to her when she was a kid. It only has 4 pages, 3 words. Now, normally I lay in bed with her. We lay down and we read books together. But this time I only sit on the edge of bed. I give her one cheek. I call this a half-ass intervention. Okay? Half-ass behavior, half-ass treatment. See, spot, ran. Close the book. I put her away. She's a little incredulous. That seems quite brief. I put it away. I go back to her. I say what I say to her. Every night before I left her, I say, baby, I love you. I can't wait to see you in the morning. I give her a big squeeze and kiss. I leave her be. I leave. I come back later. I'll tell you why. I check on her 5 minutes later. She's asleep. Good. Now, what's cool is I have a replication night Thursday because that's a vote-off show. Okay? Same in conditions. My wife teaches Wednesday, Thursday nights. Okay? So I get my idol. 8:15. Baby, go to bed. Now, I'm waiting for it. I'm ready. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to flex my pectoral muscles. I'm just going to go right into 3-step prompting. Okay? She's like, okay, Dad. Jumps up. I'm like, yes, my baby's back. She goes on upstairs, brushes. She got her head out the bathroom, showing me how well she's brushing her teeth. Okay, my baby's back. So we go in bed. She says, Dad, pick out a book. I said, no, baby, you pick out a book. Why? Because choice is a reinforcer. Remember we talked about the choice is a powerful reinforcer. She goes to pick out one book. I say, no, baby, get 2. Do I give her one cheek? No, she gets both cheeks. Both cheeks, all right? Cover over our heads. I brought a flashlight. We're reading to a flashlight. That is the coolest thing in the world for a 3-year-old kid. She then gets a chance to read the book to me. She's not precocious. She doesn't know what the heck she's doing, okay? But she's reading the book to me. It's very fun. It's temporally extended, high quality. When I leave, I say the same thing to her like I say to her every night. Baby, I love you. I can't wait to see you in the morning. I give her a big hug and a kiss, and I leave the room. Are you with me? We need to always tell parents to tell their kids that they love them. We need to always tell parents to provide a reinforcing experience at the end of the night so the kids settle into sleep. But we also need to tell them to build in a discrepancy. When they are a little more compliant than they were the night before, make it longer and better. And if they were a little worse than they were the night before, make it shorter and a little more stunted. You with me? And by that experience, and we don't say, you were good, so you get 2 books. You were a bad girl, so we're going to just get 1. We don't do that, right? We just do. We let the kids experience. I want the kids working for your parents, not the parents working all the time for the kids. I want my little baby in bed going, what did I do to deserve that? Right? Do you see what I mean? Okay. We don't need to specify the contingencies. We just need to apply them, let them operate. Okay, so that's what I mean by arrange a big discrepancy in the consequence for compliance and noncompliance at night. Okay, let's get the sleep dependencies. We're moving. We got to rock and roll because I know we got to shut this down at 4 o'clock. Okay, I want you to think really quick. We're not talking about kids. We're talking about you. What do you need to fall asleep? It's something that's present while you're laying in bed that without which you cannot fall asleep. I want you to think about that. Think about that. What is it? Sometimes people discover them when they go on the road to a hotel. They can't sleep because they're missing their fill in the blank. So please share with me, share with this crowd The funnier the better. Doesn't have to be funny though. What are your sleep dependencies?
Flat pillow.
Flat pillow. Some people need a particular pillow. You need a muscious flat one. Do you like beat the heck out of your pillows in the hotel room to get it down to where you need it? Or
I can squeeze it in the suitcase. It comes with me.
there you go. Oh, when I get on a plane, this is what I look for. It's my favorite thing. Next time you get on a plane, do this. I sit in the back because I get the cheap seats. I'm in the back, and I'm always looking. It's usually a female. She walks down the aisle. She's usually dressed pretty good. She's got a pillow she's drooled on for 19 years. It's got mouth rings all over it. You know what I'm saying? She tries to doll it up with a new case, but you look at the edges, and they're all tattered. That's her sleep pillow. She does not go on the road without that thing, right? So that's a sleep dependency, particular pillow. Some people pack away their whole linen set. Comforter, blanket, right? They got a big suitcase, not clothes. It's their sleep dependencies. What are some other things your sleep is dependent upon?
Phone next to you.
Having the phone. A lot of people can't sleep without their phone next to them. So a lot of people have to sleep with a fan on. Who said fan? Water. Have to have water before you go to sleep. Who's the fan person? Is it the sound or is it the feel? Both. Okay. And you have to recreate those conditions when you go to hotels, right? You're hoping they have a bathroom fan. Oh, you use white noise. Me too. I'll show you my sleep machine app in a minute. Wonderful. Yeah, you use the sleep machine? Me too. What, do you know what sound you use?
I use rain and thunder.
Oh. Oh, it sounds like a country song. I use white noise 3, white noise 3, white noise 4. I like to have a little bass in there. It's like Barry White kind of white noise. Okay. Come on, what are some other ones? Share with me. Some people have to have the TV on. They can't fall asleep unless the TV's on. Okay?
Small pillow, I have to like tuck a certain way.
Yeah. How about, yeah, beautiful. How some people can't sleep unless they're on their back. Some people can't sleep unless they're on their chest. Back sleepers cannot understand chest sleepers, and chest sleepers cannot understand back sleepers. And you realize this when you get hurt, perhaps. You get an injury. You can't sleep a particular way. How many? What's that?
When you're pregnant.
Oh, it changes up the whole sleep game, doesn't it? Yes. How about, does anyone need to sleep with something between their knees? Okay, yeah, me too. I have bony knees. I got to put something. I'll wrap up a T-shirt. I got to have something there. But then if I'm at home, I've engineered right, so I have a pillow there. My wife calls it my crotch pillow. It's not for my crotch, for my knees, people. Okay, I tell my wife that. She doesn't believe me. Okay, but I put it here. I'm not doing anything weird or hinky with it. Okay. So when we go to bed, we have 4 pillows on our bed. She color codes them. 3 sleep pillows, and then my crotch pillow is a different color. And every now and then we turn the lights off, and I hear this. Click, click, where's the crotch pillow? Her greatest fear is going to sleep in my crotch pillow. I need my crotch pillow. Hotels, I'm sorry if you follow me, but that pillow's right there. Let me tell you another sleep dependency. I'm going to tell you this really quick because we got to get going. Okay, real quick story. I was in graduate school. I like Pop-Tarts. You know what Pop-Tarts are? Okay. Open up the silver foil. Inside the silver foil was a gold foil. Okay, and it was cool, like, oh, the machine made a mistake. But then I saw Willy Wonka, and I knew I won something. So I went over to the box, and I looked. First place, grand prize winner, was my own TV commercial. No. I was 31 years old. Yeah, they were going to fly me to Irvine, California. I was going to make a Pop-Tarts TV commercial. Expecting a 9-year-old. They would have got me. But I'm not good with colors. Thank goodness. I won second place. Second place was 144 boxes of strawberry frosted Pop-Tarts. I kid you not. Showed up all at once on a little mini pallet. So I'm in a little house in Florida. You know, the closets are so narrow because we're so poor. The what do you call them, hangers had to go this way. I filled that bad boy up to the ceiling with Pop-Tarts. It was like those Bud Light commercials. You open the door, I was like, what? I would just look at it. I was like, look at that. It's incredible. So every night before I went to bed, I would take the foil off, eat my Pop-Tart. If you eat Pop-Tarts, you know there's additional wrapping, right? That's called the crust. You got to get the crust off there. Only the inside, the frosting and the jam, right? So every night before I went to bed, I'd eat my 2 Pop-Tarts, and I readily admit, don't get close. I got teeth like not typical Americans. My teeth are terrible because I wouldn't brush my teeth because I love the flavor of it. So I would just be laying in bed, like, Pop-Tarts, right? I love them. I fall asleep with my Pop-Tart mouth. And after a month or so of this, I would invariably wake up at 2 to 3 in the morning, and I could not sleep. I could not sleep. And then I would just be walking around pacing. Why can't I sleep? I used to work in a sleep clinic. This is ridiculous. I'll take 2, cut off wrapper, eat my Pop-Tarts. Sorry, I left the screen. Eat my Pop-Tarts. Oh, I could finally fall asleep. I had a sleep problem maintained by Pop-Tarts. I kid you not. It's true. And I was embarrassed of it because my wife knew, she's a behavior analyst too, she knew I'd worked in a sleep clinic. She knew what was going on. So then I started hiding it. Started going underground. And she'd wake up in the morning. She'd be like, You had Pop-Tarts last night. You know? Like, no, I didn't, I swear. So she convinced me to get rid of the Pop-Tarts. So I would give them out to kids in the neighborhood. Bad idea. You can't just go around to kids, hey kid, I don't know you, you don't know me, would you like some treats? Okay, so that was a problem, but it worked out fine. Then I used to bring in my graduate school class. I was known as the Pop-Tart guy. I would bring them to all the graduate class. I got rid of them. Then my most embarrassing moment, and this woman married me, and I cannot believe it because I would have left my sorry ass right then and there, but here's what it was. I told her I was over it. I was sleeping fine. Don't worry about it. She caught me. Now this is Florida. We have no air conditioning, and it's a little hot, so I'm going to tell you something disgusting. I got no clothes on at the time, and I'm an Irish guy, and I'm a pretty hairy-looking Irish guy. So I'm in the kitchen. I'm eating. I made Pop-Tarts. Yeah, I'm a little Sasquatchy. I took saltines. I put raspberry jam. I took powdered sugar and milk. I put a little food coloring. I made my own Pop-Tarts. I put a little sprinkles on top. I'm eating these things. My wife comes in on me. She catches me. I was like, she said I looked like Gollum, like Lord of the Rings, like precious Pop-Tarts. It was like that disgusting. You hear what I'm saying? I'm in a deep, dark place with respect to this sleep problem. Dank, even. So I'm telling you this story because it's funny, and you're going to say, this can't be true. It's true. Ask my graduate student buddies at Florida. They know about my Pop-Tarts. I'm telling you this because this is a wicked problem for kids, and parents don't respect the biological environmental power of a sleep dependency. This is a polysomnogram. Kids wake up on average about 10 times a night as they're transitioning from deep sleep to light non-deep, or from REM to light non-deep sleep, light non-REM sleep, okay? They wake up, there's a little bit of awakening. If the conditions under which they fell asleep here are not present here, that little awakening turns into a full-blown awakening until they reset the conditions upon which their sleep is dependent. I had to get out of bed and eat my Pop-Tarts. Kids who go to sleep with parents patting their back and the parent tiptoes out of the room, when the kid wakes up, what has them? They cry out till the parent comes back, rubs their back to sleep. Are you with me? Little babies that fall asleep with the pacifier, then they lose the pacifier, falls out of the crib, they keep crying. They're not going to stop crying until someone comes in, puts that pacifier back. Are you with me? These are called sleep dependencies. They are powerful determinants of night awakenings. We think most kids wake up during the night because the conditions under which they fell asleep are not there. Okay. These are the characteristics of healthy sleep dependencies for kids who want to be independent sleepers. 1, they don't require anyone's presence. 2, they can be there at the beginning and the middle of the night. And 3, a wish list item, they're transportable. They can go on the road with kids. That's why I love the sound machine. The sound machine is the best. The sound machine is the best because it can be there in the beginning and through the night. No one needs to be there, and it can go on the road with kids. And other data shows us that we entrain to the sound better than other things like textures and other things in the environment. Okay? Sound machines are a great sleep dependency. We try to program them as much as possible. These aren't bad sleep dependencies. You might say, what about the pacifier? Pacifier is not bad if you can put 8 in the crib, right? They drop one, they got another one there. My son used to do that, just look for it all on his own, put it in his mouth. I'm not talking about pacifiers for a 5-year-old person at the mall. I'm talking about pacifiers for little babies in their cribs as a way to self-soothe, to reset themselves to fall back asleep. When children have inappropriate sleep dependencies, i.e. they fall asleep with a bottle in their mouth while watching TV, while mom and dad rub their back. Right? 3. We'll throw all those 3 together. We had a family with this going on originally. We used to try to fade out the sleep dependencies. Take the bottle, change the ensure down the water, turn the TV volume down, move the parent into a cot out of the room. We used to do that stuff. It took a long time and always hit a wall or 7. What we do now is we just get rid of all bad sleep dependencies. We put the sound machine in play. We make sure the schedule's right, the bedroom conditions are right, the routine's right, and then we move forward to the next bit of treatment, which is what to do with the interfering behavior. Because when you take away the sleep dependency, what are you going to get? Interfering behavior. So let's just address that. These are the forms of interfering behavior. Before we can treat interfering behavior, we need to figure out why are they engaging in it. We do not do an analysis, we do an assessment. We just ask questions. Are they trying to get your attention? Are they asking for snacks? What do you do to settle them back to sleep? That's a common question. That's the reinforcer for the interfering behavior. Okay. Let's take an example while we look at this. There's two parts. Let's take the example of what's the most common reinforcer for interfering behavior for young children in America? It's attention. Familial attention from either mom or dad. They want a little bit more of it. So this treatment has two parts. Number one, give them a lot of the reinforcer before they go to bed. Oftentimes, parents don't give kids a lot of attention before they go to bed because they're so busy cleaning up from dinner, making phone calls, helping siblings with homework, maybe having the adult dinner so they don't have to eat mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Are you with me? So there's a lot of attention deprivation right before bed, and then the signal good night signals 12 hours without additional attention. So we try to ask parents to get in some love before they bid the child good night. And then we're going to talk about these tactics. These are 6 ways to disrupt the contingency between the interfering behavior and its reinforcement. I only like the ones in green that are underlined. Extinction has evidence, but I don't ask parents to let kids cry it out because I know most parents can't do it. Some can. Some say, yeah, I let my baby cry it out. 3 nights, they slept through the night. Awesome. But most parents, when that cry increases, as it will when you let them cry it out, it increases in intensity, most parents break down and they got to go in that room. Supposedly we're genetically programmed for that. Progressive waiting is the same as to verbalize your child. Has anyone ever heard of that? A guy's name was made into a verb. That's pretty cool. Imagine that, to Colby your kid. Right? Oh, that's a first name. That would be kind of neat. This guy's name was made into a verb because this procedure is very common. What it is, it's like extinction, except it's progressive waiting. The baby cries at first, you go right in. The next instance of a cry, you wait, and then you go back in. The next instance of a cry, you wait a little bit longer, and then you go back in. Is there evidence suggesting it works? Yes. Do I ever recommend it? No. It's behaviorally strange to me, because I'm afraid people are going to go in and reinforce worse behavior than the initial behavior that was occurring. Let's not talk about these. Let's just talk about these two guys. Time-based visiting. Time-based visiting is like this. Instead of going in based on their behavior, we ask parents to go back in according to time, and we make a time-based schedule for them. We want to make sure the parent goes in first before the child has the interfering behavior. So if it's a child that on average cries out for their mommy or daddy after about a minute after going into bed or longer, this might be a schedule we use. First night, they're going to bid the child good night. Good night, I love you, good night. They're going to go out in the hallway. 10 seconds later, they're going to go back into the room. I love you. Give a squeeze, snuggle, good night, I love you. Then they're going to leave. 30 seconds later, they're going to go back in the room. Now, typically developing kids, especially if they have language, they're like, you just did that. I'm afraid they're thinking their parents having a brain bleed or something. 911, my mommy's going nuts. Okay. We go back in according to time before they have a problem behavior. Okay, why are we doing that? We're trying to break the contingency between their interfering behavior and its reinforcement. And when you do that, what are we teaching parents to teach their kids? That they're always there for them. That there's no need to call or come out of your room. Your parent's always there for you. And when we teach them that, they stop behaving. And when they stop behaving, they start sleeping. We do this with babies too, except instead of time, we have steps. I kid you not, it looks just like this. You know when you put a baby down, their reflex is, they do one of these numbers, right? You know, often this elicits a cry, and then that cry turns into an operant because it gets the parent to return. So we have the parent put the baby down and fuss with them until they're calm. And then we have them lean back and then go back in and fuss with them. Remember that dance move, lean back? Okay, we lean back, we lean in. We actually do. We have a fun time dancing. We tell them to lean back and take a step back. It's like a country line dance. Then go back in. Then we turn into basketball metaphors. We teach them to pivot and then go back to their baby. Then we teach them to take 2 steps, travel, then go back to your baby. What are we teaching the baby? There's no need to cry. Mommy's always there for you. Okay? And then when we do that, we see the interfering behavior go away, and the kid starts to sleep. It takes about a week. We also love the bedtime pass. The bedtime pass was developed by Pat Fryman, one of my favorite behavior analysts. The bedtime pass is a little pass. Usually it's a laminate thing. You give it to the child. You say, you can come out of your bedroom and get any wish granted with the pass. The child might come out and ask for more water, more milk, have you come back to the bedroom. If they come out of the pass subsequently without the pass, say, I'm sorry, got nothing for you, go back to bed. What do kids do with that pass? Do they use it immediately? They save it. They sleep with it. They drool all over the lamination. We make little velvet pouches for them so they're more like stuffies, stuffed animals. They lay with it and they wait and don't use it unless they really need it. This is great for kids who report that they're scared of the bedroom, right? They hold on to it. They're not going to run out of the bedroom when they hear the wind rattling the windows. They can't take it anymore. I need you to come to my bedroom. No problem. But over time, they learn to hold on to that and deal with all those issues. The bedtime pass is wonderful. I'm also a big fan of, we did a preference. Let me just show you this really quick. Parents rotated through. One night they did the bedtime pass, one night they did extinction, and one night they did time-based visiting. When they did it, there was different colored night lights in the kids' rooms. So the night light was red when they did time-based visiting. It was green when they did extinction. They rotated through these for about a month. We wanted to see which one worked better. They all worked. Time-based visiting and bedtime pass that has worked a little bit better, okay? But then we put the 3 cards on the wall, and these are kids between the ages of 1.5 and 2 that had no language. And when the parent said, pick one, and whichever one the child picked, that's the treatment the parent did that night. And what we're trying to do is ascertain which treatment these little people who don't have language prefer. And here are the data. Oh, I don't know why that looks weird. Nevertheless, here are the data. Gina and Sam, these young kids without language, both preferred the bedtime pass. Okay? So this is what we call treatment preference assessments. We do this in all sorts of contexts, even with sleep intervention. We love the bedtime pass because kids love the bedtime pass. Okay. Sometimes we combine them. You might be saying, well, what about night awakenings? How did we fix night awakenings, folks? Sleep dependencies. Kids wake up in the night because their dependency is often removed. We fix night awakenings with the sound machine. But a couple other things. I don't know if you've ever seen these moon-sun clocks. They're called binary clocks. They don't have hands or digits on them. You can just set it so that the moon is up when you want the kid to be in bed, dimly lit, and then a bright sun turns on when you want them out of bed. So we put them in kids' rooms, and we do discrete trial training during the day. We have them lay in bed. We turn the clock on them. If it's sunny, we reward them for jumping out of bed. We turn around, we turn the clock to them. If it's moon, we want them to do this. And then we put an M&M in their mouth. It's true. Okay? And we teach them, when the sun's up, get out of bed. When the moon's up, stay in bed. And then we use the moon-sun clock at night. A lot of kids have early awakenings, I think, because you and I, we wake up early, but we can look at a clock, see that hope, and go back to bed. But a lot of kids don't know what those digits mean. All right? And the light-dark cycle outside is an indicator as we do daylight savings and all that stuff. Okay, key considerations for good sleep. All 5 of these. We have to manage the schedule, the routine, their sleep context. Sleep dependencies is a big deal. We need to manage those, get those sound machines in there, and then use time-based visiting or bedtime pass or both to manage those reinforcers for kids at night. I'm sorry we skipped a little bit with the sleep stuff. It's a fairly complicated topic, but I just wanted to give you a taste. I want you to look at Sandy Jin's article. All the details about how to do this, I really think can be found in there. Jin, J-I-N, it's 2013 in Java. Before we end, let's talk about you. Okay, let's talk about you. There's a couple other things we're going to add for your insomnia, for my insomnia. Ready? Some of it's going to sound the same, some of it's going to be different. Number 1, we have 2 days off. Okay, start on a Friday if you work a typical work week. Second, and I'm sorry I have to say this because it seems so obvious, exercise. People who exercise sleep better. But it's not just an across-person comparison. If you exercise this much, on the night you're starting sleep treatment that day, exercise a little more. If you don't exercise much at all, exercise just a little bit more. Take a walk. Okay? Exercise a little bit more on the first night you do sleep treatment. Let's talk about caffeine. It takes 6 hours to get out of your system if you're sensitive to it. I have grad students come up to me at 9 o'clock at night after our seminar going, I was hoping you could talk to me about my sleep problem. Let me just finish my Mountain Dew. Hold on. Step 1, stop drinking Mountain Dew in my class at 9 o'clock at night if you expect to go to bed at 11. Takes 6 hours, okay? So we need to get the caffeine off of dinner. It's hard. I love coffee after dinner, but I have to have decaf. Okay. This is new. This is for you and me, us language-able people. Before you go to bed, you need to reflect on your day and plan for tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying write it in your diary because I don't want to get laughed out of the room. But maybe before you go to bed, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're getting ready, undressed for bed, you actively and purposely think about your day, reflect on it. Reflect on the positive interactions. Reflect on the negative interactions that you wish went a different way. Plan your day for tomorrow. The main point here is put your thoughts to bed before you put yourself to bed. You cannot go to bed without reflecting on your day and planning for tomorrow if you do a lot of mental rumination in bed. Put your thoughts to bed before you put yourself to bed. You're going to recognize some of these. Put yourself to bed an hour later when you fell asleep the night before, first night sleep treatment, right? Do that faded bedtime stuff. And then this is the last new one. We didn't recommend this for kids. If you don't fall asleep within 10 to 15 minutes, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're finding yourself awake for 10 to 15 minutes and you're just spinning your mental tires, get out of bed. It's the hardest thing to do in this self-managed treatment for insomnia. Get out of bed. What should you do? I'll tell you what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't email. You shouldn't tweet. Check Twitter. I don't do these things, okay? Don't use computers. Don't do laundry. Don't make lunches. Don't clean the bedroom. Don't do... Okay, you see what I'm saying? Don't do anything goal-directed. I studied English as an undergraduate. I have a lot of boring books in my basement. I have 3 copies of Beowulf. I'll send you one. It's a snoozer, okay? Take Beowulf, put it on a chair. If you can't sleep, get up. Read anything, Middle English or later. It's even hard to get through that different way of writing, okay? Read it when you get tired, drowsy, put yourself back in bed. Because if you practice not sleeping in bed, you're going to get good at it. So if you're not sleeping in bed, get out, do something non-goal directed, read a boring book, put yourself back in bed. Let's review this stuff for you. Ready? Here we go. This is the treatment for insomnia. It can take 5 days or less. Exercise the day you're going to start this. Don't have caffeine after 4 o'clock the day you're going to start this. Put yourself to sleep an hour later than when you fell asleep the night before. Put your thoughts to bed before you put yourself to bed. Get out of bed and read a literary classic if you're not falling asleep. Then put yourself back to bed. If you commit to these strategies, you can self-manage this all on your own. And I don't care how long you've practiced being a non-sleeper, this can help you be a pretty darn good sleeper. Last thing. It's called the Sleep Cycle app. Sleep Cycle app. Has anyone heard of it? It's one of the most commonly downloaded apps. I think it's in the top 5 still. What it involves, it has a lot going on, but here's the greatest part. You set an alarm clock to go off within a 30-minute window. You put the phone somewhere on your bed underneath your fitted sheet, okay? What it does is it detects movement. Your alarm won't go off when you're in a deep sleep, if you will, or even REM sleep. In REM sleep, you're not moving. Okay? You're like this. This is how active you are, no matter how awesome your dream is. Okay? When you start to move, the phone detects the movement and the alarm goes off. Oh my, it is a beautiful way to wake up. I very rarely get woken up by my alarm. I move and I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. Bing, 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 bing. You with me? Our alarm goes off on a fixed time schedule independent of our behavior. So sometimes it's going to go off in the middle of your greatest dream. If you're sleeping in, it's going to go off in the middle of deep sleep. But if you use the Sleep Cycle app, it's going to go off when your body is prepared to get out of bed. It's a beautiful, beautiful invention. It's called the Sleep Cycle app. I think you can get it for free. If not, it's maybe $1. Free, okay. Okay. Freedom from sleep problems is possible for the people you serve. It's possible for you. You can engineer the environment to make it happen. Okay. We're out of time. Thank you so much for your patience. It was a pleasure talking with you.